Hey, it's Lee. Welcome to Business Problem Solve. Today, you have just got me again. Lucky you. Hope you're well. Hope you've had an amazing week. I want to talk about language, and that might seem quite a funny thing to talk about with somebody who has a northern accent like I. I keep getting reminded of my accent everywhere I go. Anyway, but yeah, language. Our brain doesn't determine or differentiate positive from negative. So if I was to say to you, yellow lemon, you may have had a picture in your brain of a yellow lemon. If I was to say to you, don't think about pink elephants, those of you that had a picture of a yellow lemon, that might have now been replaced by a pink elephant. Our brain doesn't differentiate between positive and negative. Our own experiences and how we have been brought up and educated has created an association of some words to positive and negative. Because I guess all language is neutral. It's the meaning is added by us and culture, society, our teachers, our parents as we've grown up. And there's 4 examples of words that I want to share with you today that have got negative definitions in the world of change and leadership, or primarily negative definitions in leadership and in change. Those 4 words are failure, problems, conflict, and challenge. And if I was to say to you, failure, you're probably thinking when you haven't managed to achieve something that you've wanted to achieve. You're probably thinking of a red magnet on a whiteboard, a metric that is below performing, your football team not winning the last game. Failure. And then if I was to say the word problems, you're probably thinking about obstacles, things that are getting in your way, things that happen that shouldn't happen. Again, you're thinking about the negative and the bad things. If I'm saying to you the word conflict, you might be thinking about arguments. You might be thinking about resistance. You might be thinking about like fighting. And if I was to say the word challenge, you might think negativity. You might think, again, like conflict, you might think fighting. You might think arguments. Those words, failure, problems, conflict, and challenge, typically are seen as negative when we're talking about leadership and when we're talking about change, because we're trying to remove them. We're trying to remove problems. We're trying to remove the opportunity for failure. But I think we need to encourage more of it. I think we need to have more of these things. More of these things, but only if we're all heading in the same if we're all heading in the same direction and we've got the same destination and goal that we're trying to achieve. So those 4 words, failure, problems, conflict, and challenge, I want you to start thinking about positively. I want you to reframe them in the instances when you are all trying to achieve the same goal and vision. And why do I say this? Because I think we need more of them. I think it's a far safer, a far better environment if we have more of these things. You probably remember on the pod a few weeks ago me talking about my first job, data input, and I didn't feel comfortable to raise my hand and say that I couldn't do a particular task because I was looking around and everybody around me was working away, and I felt like a bit of a failure, and I couldn't speak openly about it. we sit in meetings, and you've probably sat in a number of meetings where you have thought something but not wanted to speak out because of what people might say to that idea or that suggestion, and your self-talk has become negative, and you're talking yourself out of saying these things. But if we were to think about these four things, just these four things, in a more positive way, so if we look at failure means that you've tried something. Failure means that you've tried something, and you've only failed because you've given something a go. So it's actually a positive thing, because it's going to encourage you to try more things. And if more people are failing, that means that more things are being tried on your destination or on your journey to achieve a particular destination or goal. So failure needs to be encouraged, not chastised, not belittled, not pointed out, not highlighted in a negative way. So how can you encourage, as a leader of people or change, how can you encourage more failure to occur? How can you create an environment where more failures happen? Because when more failures happen, or when more failures are happening, that means more things are being tried. So yeah, so encourage more things to happen, encourage people to try more things, and make it safe to fail, because you reward the things that reward the behavior of trying stuff. And when we talk about problems, the whole, I mean, we're trained, aren't we, in improvement, and we're trying to problem solving. So we try to remove problems. We try for problems not to happen and not to occur. But if we are finding problems, then that means that there's things in our way getting towards where we're trying to get. And the more problems that we can find, the more sustainable our journey be, and the more likelihood it is that we'll reach our goal or a destination that we're trying to get to. So when somebody stumbles upon a problem, it's a positive and not a negative. So I would say to you, what are you doing to create a system, not a computer system, but a communication and engagement system that finds more problems? The whole thing about problem solving, I remember working working for a business, and they wanted to find and create an army of problem solvers. I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. I think we need to find and create an army of problem finders. The more problems we find, the more things we can solve. So what can you do to create an environment that finds more problems? So it's leaders asking better questions. It's leaders drilling down into the information to make it actionable, the things that we're finding. So yeah, so what can we do to create more problems? Not create a system to find more problems. We want to find more problems. It's a positive to find problems, because things are getting in the way. If people feel like I felt in that job, that I couldn't speak out, that was a problem that stayed hidden. That was a problem that stayed hidden. And the customers that I were dealing with were going to take a little bit longer to be dealt with, because I didn't feel comfortable to be able to raise an issue and speak out. So problems are positive. They're not negative. We need to find more problems, because then we can solve more problems. So that was the second one. So failure was the first. We need more failure, because it means we're trying more things. We need more problems, because that means we can solve more things getting in our way to achieve our goal. Third one, conflict. Conflict. Now, this is one that I've had to overcome, and I used to do everything I could to avoid conflict, avoid conflict, because I wanted everybody to be happy. I didn't want anybody to ever fall out. And I thought if conflict occurred, it was people, teams, groups that were falling out. But if conflict does occur, what is conflict? Well, conflict is just a difference of opinion. And if that opinion is about something to do with the journey or destination, the journey that you're on or destination you're trying to achieve, then conflict is a positive thing, because you're going to create a better solution or a better outcome, because you've got two people with two different opinions that can be spoken about openly, or two groups with different opinions that can be spoken about openly to create a better solution. Different departments have different metrics that create conflict. When bringing those two departments together might allow people to work better together. So constructive conflict is a positive thing. And the more conflict you can create means that you're getting more opinions from people on the solutions that you're trying to develop. So conflict helps you create better solutions or a better outcome, because you're encouraging a place where everybody is safe to raise their ideas, raise their suggestions, speak openly about what it is in front of them. So encourage more positive conflict, because you're going to have a place where people can share their opinions. So failure is positive, problems are positive, conflict is also positive. And the fourth one that I said was challenge. And more often than not, it's challenge, or a fear of challenge and a fear of being challenged, that prevents us from creating an environment where problems are, creating an environment where failure is safe, creating an environment where conflict occurs, because we don't like being challenged. But if you are challenged, then that's an opportunity for you to learn more about you, learn more about your approach, learn more about the way that you have gone about something. Challenge and conflict can be very similar, but I think challenge can be more personal, because we don't like being challenged. We don't like our authority being challenged, our leadership being challenged, our ideas being challenged. But it's just people with different opinions about how something could be done, or about the ideas that are being shared. So be challenged, be open to be challenged. How can you create within yourself more comfort about being challenged? I work with a lot of leaders, and they don't like asking questions where they don't know the answer, because of the challenge and the conflict that might arise. But if we create that environment where more challenge is encouraged, more conflict is allowed, then we ourselves, as leaders of people or change, can become better at involving and engaging people. And that's only for the betterment of what it is that we're trying to achieve. So whatever you started this podcast thinking about the words failure, challenge, conflict, and problems, whatever you thought about those four words, I want you to really think about how you can create more of those four words, and whether, and the reason why challenge was the last one, because that's the most personal one, because we don't like being challenged. But what can you do to encourage more people to challenge you? Because that's only for the betterment of where it is he's trying to get to. You as a leader, because it's about your approach or your ideas and your thoughts. So what can you do as a leader to find more problems, to create more conflict, to have more failure, and to allow and enable more challenge to happen? Those things are positive and not negative, providing, and only providing, everybody wants to achieve the same goal or destination. If your first bit of conflict, your first bit of challenge is about the destination, then welcome it. Create the right destination, the right goal that you want to try to get to, and then start the journey. But do what you can to encourage failure, to encourage problems, to encourage conflict, and to be open, to be challenged. There you go. Another episode over with. As always, if you want to get in contact, please do. I have recently, when I say recently, in the last 12 months, started a Creating Confident Change Leaders group coaching program. And this has now been followed up with a Overcoming Resistance for change people and leaders of people as well. So yeah, so if you want more help to overcome resistance or to be more confident doing whatever it is that you're doing in your role as a leader of people or change, then please do get in contact. If you've got a question about change, about leadership, or you just want to bounce some ideas back and forth, then please do reach out on LinkedIn, TikTok, or Instagram. And yeah, I'll chat to you again next week. And as always, it has been a pleasure, and speak to you soon.